Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, your lil brother doesn't clean his room? It's your fault and the vacation is cancelled. MIL living rent-free. I'm almost at a breaking point. I don't want your kid cracking their head open, sorry. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Your lil brother doesn't clean his room? It's your fault and the vacation is cancelled. Me and my family were supposed to have a vacation in a few days and I was preparing my clothes in my younger brother's room. For context, he is 5 years younger than me and has a room that is twice bigger than mine and that our mother regularly cleans. He is a very messy person and he believes he can get what he wants by crying and screaming. Back to this morning, my mother came inside the room and scolded me because it was messy. I told her that it's not my room and it's not my fault if it's messy. Apparently having a point means being disrespectful, so she screamed at me from 9.47 till 10.28, telling me what a terrible and ungrateful person I am. Since after 15 years of emotional abuse I kinda don't care about what she tells me, she decided that I wasn't worthy enough to have a vacation since I didn't even look sorry. I like staying at home and this vacation was made specifically for her, by her, so joke's on her, she literally punished herself. Cannot wait to go to university so that I don't have to deal with her, by everyone. If she cleans his room but it was messed up, doesn't that mean that she wasn't doing her job but blamed you? Honestly, all of her reaction reeks of narcissism and favoritism, so. Had something similar happen to me at my first job. The other guy working wasn't doing his job, so I had to do it for him, and then he chewed me out in public for doing it wrong. Needless to say, I quit. If your brother can mess it up, he can also learn to clean it too. My baby brother, who is 1.5 years old, can clean up his own mess when told it's time to clean/tidy up. He hates when other people try to clean up his mess, but if you tell him that it's time, he will do it. Younger brat brother has the bigger bedroom, oh goody, a mom that plays favorites and enables a tantrum thrower. Been there, my younger sister's bedroom was twice the size of mine. And it was an absolute disaster area, could literally not see the carpet due to clothes and plushies, always. Meanwhile I had to squeeze past furniture in my room, couldn't have a TV or games console cause it was too small, no table to do schoolwork on, so I had to work in the lounge with the TV, didn't even have electrical sockets before my dad actually wired some in. And yes, she was a brat that threw tantrums whenever ordered to clean her room. Never understood that. So, the mother cancelled the entire vacation, or decided to go, but leave you home alone? Then entire vacation, I am still laughing. The mother probably never intended to take OP in the first place. In her mind, not being able to be with the rest of the family is the punishment. She can't comprehend that OP may not want to spend time with her. I'm so sorry. I had similar parents, but they didn't make me clean my brother's room. They were the kind of parents who prided themselves on being at every game, but I feel you can't claim that when you only do it for one child. If you only care about one, you're still a terrible parent. I had to clean up after my brothers except their room. I was the only girl and the scapegoat. My room was a disaster because it was the only place where I had any control. Pissed my mom off, but she finally realized that, unless she wanted to do it, it wouldn't get done. I clean up sometimes, but she just started closing my door because I could match her stubbornness 100%. Maybe there never was a vacation or something else happened and she is blaming you now. Yep, she wanted to go on a trip with just her golden child, so she dragged out any excuse she could to leave you behind. My husband had the same age gap between him and his younger brother. He had all responsibilities but no authority. He was supposed to keep little brother out of trouble, but when he did, LB ran bawling to mommy that big brother wasn't letting him play. If he let LB do what he wanted to, he got in trouble then, too. Even if he wasn't there when LB took the cuckoo clock apart, it was his fault for not being a good enough role model. Cannot wait to go to university so that I don't have to deal with her, by everyone. You think they are paying for this? Please keep us up to date because I see this going to shit. Op might not be in the US. They might live somewhere in Europe, where university is much more affordable, even without the help of parents and without financially crippling yourself for the rest of your life. Start figuring out where your social security card and birth certificate are. The closer you get to 18, the more danger it is of getting lost. I'm going to punish you for a mess you didn't make by excluding you from a vacation you didn't want to go on anyway. Okay, EPs, no skin off my back. Have fun dealing with little brother when he's an out-of-control teenager and I'm long gone from this house. Cannot wait to go to university so that I don't have to deal with her, by everyone. Watch her mad that you're happy without her, just try make sure you take your important documents and stuff with you while permanently making sure you never return to her place, not even for a visit. My mom was bad about this stuff, especially when she saw we were growing up. She doesn't like that me and my sister are grown up and can do stuff by ourselves. I get being nostalgic, but she gets mad that we don't tell her everything in our lives. I didn't tell her I was seeing a girl and she freaked out, one probably because earlier that day my sister didn't tell her that she broke up with her boyfriend. MIL living rent-free. I'm almost at a breaking point. My mother-in-law is living with my spouse and I rent-free. We are married with 3 kids, home is 3,000 sq feet, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 1 office, 2 living rooms, loft. Decent size house. She broke up with her husband January 2022 and had nowhere to go, so we let her stay with us so she could get back on her feet, no questions asked. She moved most of her belongings into a storage unit, $175 to $200 a month. We let her stay in one of the 4 bedrooms, oldest child has his own room, 2 youngest children share a room, spouse and I have the master bedroom, office remains an office. As far as getting back on her feet, she only works approximately 2 hours a day due to work-related injuries, so her income is pretty limited. She's trying to hang on until retirement, but that's about 7 more years away. We don't ask her to pay us any rent or any bills. She's only responsible for her own bills, car, insurance, phone etc., and her own food. All we ask is she watch the kids when needed due to my spouse and I working long hours/days, and drop off and pick up our oldest child to practice 3 times a week, MWF. Classes are 1 hour 15 minutes for what it's worth, and only a 10-minute drive away. Oftentimes she won't drop off or pick up the oldest from practice because she goes to the casino. She actually goes to the casino around 3 to 5 times a week. Her income is already very limited from only working 2 hours a day 5x a week. Yet she chooses to go to numerous casinos anywhere from 1 to 2 hours away spending whatever little funds she has left. She claims she only uses free points the casino gives her, whatever. But the gas it takes to get there, money on food etc. is enough to make it a horrible decision. Let alone factoring in she's living completely free on someone else's dime while the owners of the home are working their tails off. When either my spouse or I have the day off, she abandons any child care obligations she has and is out and about on the town doing who knows what. She comes home at 3, 4, 5, even 6 a.m. with bags of junk or food that nobody eats, taking up space in the pantry or fridge, oftentimes rotting until we throw it away. We've allowed her to stay with us to help her out and get back on track, but I can't help but feel I'm being taken advantage of. This whole time she could have been saving up so she could move out and get her own spot. It's been 18 months of free living for her, no bills, no rent, spending her money on gambling, a useless but expensive storage unit filled with junk that she claims she will use when she gets her own spot again. The only positive is she watches the kids while my spouse and I work, but even then it's only for a few hours a day at most since we work different shifts and one of us are usually always home. When asked if she has a plan, she says she's only staying here until we no longer need her and she's been saving up to get her own spot. The math doesn't add up and her actions don't exactly give me the warm and fuzzies either. I think I'm at the point where she needs to move out and get her own spot, but at the same time I don't really think she's saved a dime. If she really hasn't saved a dime this whole 18 months living with us, is it wrong to kick her out being that she's my MIL? For what it's worth, she's a very kind-hearted, sweet person, just doesn't seem to have her priorities straight at all. Give her a definite "you're moving" date and stick with it. Have you talked to your spouse about this? You don't mention anything about how they feel about the situations or your feelings. The two of you need to sit down and come up with a plan. How soon do you want her out? Do you have a viable childcare plan once she's out? Will you both be able to enforce your boundaries? TBH, ideally this should be a 2 yes, 1 no situation on MIL staying, but if you're the one no, a unilateral decision doesn't work towards maintaining peace with your spouse. Also, timelines need to be reasonable. You can't say get out tomorrow. You'll do better if you set up a timeline and proceed with getting your side of things lined up, like childcare, so she can't say you need her. Casinos don't just give out free points. Points are earned based on spending. She's lying to your face and addicted to gambling. Speak to your spouse. Look up the laws for your state on tenants. Give her a date to move out, or you'll start formal eviction. I don't think she left her husband. With her habits, I suspect he left her. Look into government housing for her. If she is receiving any sort of disability from her previous job, she should easily qualify. Her rent would be based on her income. She is definitely taking advantage of you. You are having to pay additional utilities and additional food for her. She should be compensating. She may also qualify for government assistance for food. All of these things need to be looked into to get her out of your house. She doesn't have disability yet. Currently fighting for it, but she's also not the most proactive. She filed and doesn't follow up. She shows up for her 2 hours of work per day, but yet goes to every casino in the area any chance she gets. I have a feeling her work knows she's out enjoying herself. Your MIL is gambling that you won't kick her out. It's time for MIL to move out, or she's suddenly going to change decades of bad, terrible money mismanagement and you won't get a penny out of her. You don't need her at all. Tell her to move out and she has 90 days. Stick to it firmly and remind her every 2 weeks of how much time is left. Freeloaders are disgusting. Maybe sit your MIL down with a financial advisor and help her budget and save for moving out. Bringing in an outside professional might help, because then there's some impartiality. And if the advisor wants your mom to bring bank statements, etc. for the planning, that means the extent of her gambling expenses becomes known. I'm biased against gambling, but it could be putting a $20 down for nickel slots. Same as if she went out for a couple glasses of wine. It's a way to relax. Or she could be a gambling addict. And there's help for that. I don't want your kid cracking their head open, sorry. Lifeguard here. I work at a small local pool and we get lots of kids during the summer. Today a kid started sprinting on the wet pool deck right by the edge of the deep end. Asked him to walk, didn't listen, so I blew my whistle, not too loud, just a very short beep, and asked again, politely. Kid proceeds to understand and walk, but mom comes over and starts telling me not to blow my whistle or yell at her child ever again. I'm so sorry that I don't want your kid to crack his head on the concrete and ruin his fun pool day. My bad. That's what you are paid to do. If she doesn't want you to yell at her kid, take him home. I don't think a lifeguard is paid to drive people's kids home after swimming. She could have also tried telling her own child to stop running. Just tell her it's pool policy. She doesn't like it, she can leave. You were literally doing your job. Please tell me you blew your whistle at her and told her to be polite to the lifeguards? At the city pool growing up, the lifeguard would have thrown the mother out. They let kids in over a certain age without parents if they had taken approved swimming lessons. I don't remember the details, it was long ago, but my sister and I took lessons there and we went almost every day by ourselves. But the lifeguards did not play at all. If you got the whistle too many times, I think it was like 3, you got booted that day, maybe multiple days depending on what the whistle was for. Arguing with the lifeguards or trying to tell them how to do their job like that was an immediate boot. I don't know how often it happened, but I remember it once or twice. Every day there was way more kids than adults, and most of my pool friends were there without parents, like me. Nope, never will again. Since you and your child are now permanently banned. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.